Hey everybody, I'm Josh and welcome to another episode of Just Sayin. Thank you. On the show today we are continuing with our month-long series of Dating 101 with Week 3, Family. So let's get the show started by asking the question I ask at the beginning of every one of my shows. What is Josh drinking? And on the show today, I sit on the edge of your seat for this one. Mountain Dew. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and start our host chat. Next week, just so you know, is our week 4. I'm hoping, I know I'm posting this one a day late or so, but my new, even though I'm officially on my new schedule, I haven't started my new schedule. Last week, because a coworker asked for it off, I was in a different position on a Monday, so I was off on Wednesday. And then this week, Monday was a holiday, and so a coworker asked so that she could stay home with her grandkids and kids if I would cover her Monday, and she's covering my Wednesday, so it's all thrown off again. But just a reminder that starting next week, unless something happens, I will be working on the show Sunday and Monday. And then I hope to get it posted one of those 2 days. But that's why I'm getting it out late this week, because my schedule is kind of foobarbed. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, I'm hoping to get it out preferably Sunday, but probably on Monday. Because let's be real, after working so many days in a row, I'm going to need Sunday to not do anything. Not even think. I don't like to think. Gets me in trouble. Anyway, I have an announcement to make. I got note cards again, and they're different colors. That's right, a different color for each segment. I don't know why, because I'm colorblind. But Producer Man does them, so he wanted to make them special. I guess, I don't know. Anyway. So I've got note cards again. The store, funny story, the store that I get them from, which is down the street, and I'm, like I said, I'm in there 800 times a day, they are still out of them. It's been like a month or two. At least a month, maybe 2. And about a week or 2 weeks ago, I went in there and I was like pretending to cause a ruckus about it. Because I like to harass the store manager, and who we'll call Mary Beth. Mary Beth, I love her. Love you, Mary Beth. But anyway, I was pretending to cause a ruckus, and I was like, when are you going to get these in? I've been waiting so blah, 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 blah. Which I think I figured out why, because they ran out near the end of the semester, which I think is when some seniors have to do their term papers. So I had to go get printer ink tonight after work, so I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at an office supply store. Why not get note cards? And I got some note cards, so anyway, yeah. Watch now, I'll probably not hold them at all anymore. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened this week. Here's some news headlines. It's a new thing I'm going to start during my host chat when I don't have anything personal to talk about. And I'm just going to tell you some news stories that happened this week. So mostly it'll be entertainment news. But there's 2 stories that really popped out to me when I was just watching the news this week. And that is, first of all, I live in a small town. Which is separated by 2 bigger towns. Probably, if you combine the 2 towns, it'd probably be half of Chicago. Maybe 3/4 of Chicago. And one town is like an hour away from me, which is where one of my sisters lives. Betty Sue. Or Betty Lou. One of them lives there. Anyway. And I go there quite a bit. It's not that big of a deal. But in this other town, which I'm not going to mention, a 77-year-old female was arrested, 77 years old, for helping inmates smuggle contraband into the prison. A 77-year-old female. What has this world gotten to? A 77-year-old female. $20 says that one of her family members is in there, and so she's sending it to him, started sending it to him. Well, then the other inmates were probably like, well, I'll pay you to send this in, and I bet you that's kind of how it started. But still, a 77-year-old female. 77. Did I mention that she was 77? I could not imagine my grandmother doing that. Just saying. So, how's your grandma doing? Oh, she's in jail for helping smuggle contraband into prison. Anyway. Here's another old person story. An 85-year-old female was out walking her dog in Southern California, was attacked, mauled, and killed by an alligator. 85-year-old female. God bless her family. But to go out by being killed by an alligator. I mean, when I'm 85, I just want to go in my sleep. I've told all of my friends and my family that when I die, or when I get to be older than I am now, because I'm old, when I get to be 60s, 70s, just take me out. Make it look like an accident. Just take me out. Because I don't want to be like the old with a walker and pain all the time. I don't want to be like that. And then I told him when we were planning my mom's funeral, I said this to lighten the mood, but it's really kind of how I feel. Like, don't spend... Putting my mom's funeral together was like $10,000. Over $10,000, I think. It was $500 just to put her obituary in the local paper. Anyway. Which I think is a little outrageous. And free to put on the internet. So we were talking about funerals and what we want. And obviously, I'm single. Chances are it'll be my family. Obviously, it'll be my family. But chances are it'll be my sisters putting my funeral together if they're still alive. Or if they outlive me. And I was like, just start a bonfire, have a party, throw me on top of it, say your goodbyes. Because I want to be cremated anyway. Why not have fun doing it? I think it's illegal. But who would know? I'd be dead already. You'd be having a cookout anyway. I would highly recommend cooking your hot dogs on the grill, not over the fire, with my body on it. But it's fun when you can make fun of your death, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, here's another shocking news that came out of, well, this one came out of Hollywood. Well, more so New York. Ryan Seacrest is leaving Live. Now, I have to say this. I am 40 years old. The show Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, I believe, started in the 80s. I grew up watching it, which is how I kind of got into talk shows. And I think I mentioned on the show before, one of my friends and I would pretend to have talk shows every time we were together. And he, being Regis, had two co-hosts in his career. Kathy Lee, for the most part. Kathy Lee, he started it with his wife, but she quickly left. Kathy Lee, and then Kelly, when Kathy Lee left the show. How many has Kelly had? In not as much time. Michael Strahan, Ryan Seacrest. I think there was one before Michael Strahan. I can't remember who. And there might have been one between Seacrest and Strahan. I don't remember. But, good Lord! And supposedly, rumor is that they have confirmed that Mark Consuelos, her husband, will be her new co-host. Now tell me that's not nepotism. Come on. He's really good on the show. Anyway, I mean, he's co-hosted before. Fill-in, but I'm not really interested in the show since she took over. I don't know. Anyway. Sad news, more sad news out of Hollywood. Hayden, and I apologize if I mispronounce her name, which I probably will. Hayden Panettiere's brother was found dead in his apartment, or in his house, home, whatever. He was a no-call, no-show for some important meeting that he and his friends were going to, and so one of his friends went and checked on him and found him. So my condolences, thoughts will go out to Hayden and her family while they deal with this tragedy. But on the lighter side of Hollywood, 48-year-old Debrat, if you remember her from my generation, is pregnant. Congratulations. She announced it shortly after Rihanna announced her. Rihanna. I think it's actually pronounced Rihanna, and we've pronounced it wrong this entire time. I'm pretty 94.372% sure that it's Rihanna. Anyway. Sorry. I just thought I'd throw that tidbit out there. But yeah. Congratulations to Debrat. And I believe I did a story when I still did Table Talk. I believe I did a story about her coming out. Unless that was somebody else. Another female rapper. Anyway. But congratulations to her and her partner. And switching to the Pride, well, LGBTQIA side of things now. I just call it LGBTQ+. But now it's IA. I don't know what the I stands for, but the A is for asexual. So, I don't know. Back in my day, you were gay or straight. As long as you're happy, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you recognize yourself as a Martian. Named Marvin. Because he was my favorite character growing up. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. That was a wild tangent. But J.K. Rowling came out a while back and said, and I'm not quoting her because I don't remember what exactly she said, but she said, more or less said that she didn't believe in people who are trans and that they're just crazy or something like that. I don't remember. And now she's coming out and she lost like a bunch of sales and a bunch of sponsors for it. And this was after, I believe, she sold or gave the rights to Disney for Harry Potter? Anyway, but she said that she no longer cares what people think of her beliefs or that it will tarnish her legacy, because if it's a legacy, she'll be dead and she'll be 6 feet under, so she doesn't care. Don't worry if it hurts your family, because you'll be 6 feet under. Literally, that's what she said. Anyway. While my blood is boiling from mentioning that, let me go ahead and tell you something else that really gets my goat in our sketch that I like to call, It Really Gets My Goat. And here's what gets my goat this episode. I have no gaydar. I don't. I remember, like, when I first heard of the term gaydar, because I don't have it, every gay person is supposed to know another gay person just by looking at them or whatever. And I'm kind of sensing it now. But I grew up Catholic. Which is nothing wrong with being Catholic, but I grew up religious, in a religious family. I grew up kind of isolated. I remember going to New Orleans. We were on our way to Florida and took a roundabout way going through all these big cities. And we stayed in New Orleans overnight, and I remember walking the Strip with my family, and I remember asking my mom to point out what a gay person is so that I would know to stay away from them, because that's what I was taught. And I can't believe how things have changed in this day and age. It's so awesome. But anyway, gaydar, if you've never heard of it, is a term that means gay radar. Like, you can just look at someone and just tell that they're gay. And obviously there are people that you can tell. And no offense, just not my type. And I've always said this, and I will stand by this. Again, not my type. What you do is your thing. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy. But my whole thing is if I wanted to date somebody who acted and dressed like a girl, I would date a girl. I like the masculinity of a guy, you know? And that is kind of like, I can't tell who is gay or straight. And I did a test one time, an experiment. Back in the day when I used to go to the club, or the club here locally, that if you are hot, if you are very attractive, and I approach you and start a conversation with you, then you're either straight or gay and have a partner. That's my luck. So one night I thought to myself, hey, I'm going out. I'm going to do this. And I told one friend that I was going out that I was going to do it. And so I would just, like, anyone that I thought was me worth going over and talking to them, I would strike up a conversation. I'd flirt a little bit or talk. I don't know. I flirt without knowing I do it. And then in the conversation, kind of bring up what my experiment is and ask them if they were gay or straight. Out of 20 people, 18 of them were straight. One had a boyfriend and one didn't live here, was just in town for the weekend or something, visiting family. I have no gaydar. I cannot tell. Obviously, I thought my friend was setting me up with producer man. Obviously. And that, I mean, I doubt I would be single if I had a good gaydar. But, oh well. I like being single. I've been single. It used to be where I had to be in a relationship. But now I'm so used to not being in a relationship that I don't think I could be in one long term or to one person, because I don't want to have to answer to anybody. I don't want to have to dedicate time or energy or effort to a specific person. I just like doing my own thing. And I have a routine. I hate changes. And meeting someone and dating someone and spending time with someone and not... I have a thing about people being in my apartment anyway, or my space. It just... my anxiety grows, and yeah, it's been... no. Anyway. A little bit into me that you probably didn't want to go. Or no, or whatever I'm trying to say. So we're going to go ahead and end that spiel right now and go ahead and start the show by looking at some... one thing about having a family when you're the dad is the honey-do list. Well, this should have been the honey-don't list in this week's edition of Oops. Sorry, I knocked over something over here as I was putting my drink away. I was trying to do it quietly so you don't know. It's the magic of having intros. Which is why I still have intros, honestly. So, this next guy, I'm not sure I would hire. Just being honest. Because if this is his idea of fixing something, he's not really, as his van says, Mr. Fix-It. Obviously, he can't. Or maybe he found something he just couldn't. Now, I was looking at this picture for a minute. This next one. And I was like, what is wrong with this picture? But then I realized that I was kind of been smoking. And it's obvious as the nose on my face. Look at the side of the wall on the right. Look at that wood and how horribly not matched it is. My father always said, measure twice, cut once. Because once you cut it off, you can't add to it again. Unless you're really good at puzzles. No. Okay. Funnier in my head. Anyway, here's the next one. And it's actually kind of a crafty idea. You don't have to go out and buy a new handle for your water faucet. Just use a key. Hey, as the proverbial message is, if the shoe fits. And I don't know if I use that term right. So that's this week's, I don't think I used that term right. Word of the week. Now, here's the next one. You know how people figuratively say you've painted yourself into a corner? Well, this lady literally did it. Here's the next one. Again, measure twice, cut once. Here's the next one. Something tells me that you should just not use this sink. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just am prejudiced against that sink. I don't know. Here's the next one. Now, I understand a little bit as to why they changed the legs to this table. And that's because it was too low to begin with. But this just doesn't seem safe. I mean, it doesn't seem safe with the rollers on it anyway, but it's like they took a coffee table and tried to make it a desk. Here's the next one. I don't know what happened here. I just hate the fact that the article that was next to this picture was that it was new carpeting because they were renovating the house and spilled a bucket of paint down the stairs. That's why you put the carpeting in after you paint. Just saying. Here's the next one. Again, not a sink I would use. Not sure what it is. Is it like rubber cement trying to fix a leak? I don't know. And finally in this segment, yeah, again, measure twice, cut once. It's even upside down. Oy vey. Now, when you're a part of a family growing up, well, back in my day at least, you would go out, you'd hire someone, you'd go to a studio, a photography studio, and you'd get all dolled up and you'd get nice family photos taken. Not these pictures in this week's edition of Funny Family Photos.
Drop it.
Here's the first one. It's not so much the actual picture of the family, but what's going on in the background of the picture of the family. Like, there are some people that I don't mind watching kiss, and then there's some people that are just like, okay, that's enough. You know? Anyway. Now, this next picture. I feel bad for the girl. And at first I saved the picture because the girl's face in the picture. But then I realized why she was making the face in the picture, because she peed herself. I remember one time, and this is totally embarrassing, but that's why I'm telling you this story. And people that know me in real life are probably going to start making fun of me. But I remember when I was growing up, before I realized I was a big mo, I would try some things called sports and would always play summer baseball. And I was maybe in second grade when this was happening. And I was playing in a town because my school literally was in the middle of a cornfield. And I was playing in a town. I didn't know any kids. I thought all older people were mean. And I was out in the outfield at baseball practice and had to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't just run. I didn't feel like I could just run out of my position and No coaches were around me, so I literally just stood there and peed my pants. In outfield. Little insight to my family. Or to my life. You're welcome. Anyway, I don't know why this family is so attached to each other. It's kind of disturbing. A little bit. Here's the next one. I don't know what's going on with this picture. Like, just not something I would see in a photography studio when you go for your family pictures, I guess. The outfits. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't get this next picture. I saved it and I'm showing you this picture because my golden rule, if I have to see it, you have to see it. Did they change everybody's faces? Because I'm pretty sure that's not what the little girl looks like. Anyway, here's the next one. And again, it's not the foreground picture of the two girls. It's the baby in the background who's about ready to fall asleep. Or just like, take the damn picture. I have no idea why this girl in this next picture is licking her brother or sister's ear. Like, is that how you smile? Here's the next one. This one's hilarious just because of the little baby's face. That's probably the time where the photographer was getting out the duck and trying to make the kids smile and laugh. And yeah, that's basically the face I made when they would try to do that to me. You know, when you're trying to make a kid laugh, you're like making noises and he always pulls out the rubber duck and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Newer generation, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Older generation knows. Anyway, here's the next one. Now, someone in this picture is going to need some therapy growing up. Just saying. And I'm not saying it's the girl dressed as Barbie. I'm more leaning toward the brother who's making out with the my-sized Barbie. Even positioned her hand on his hip. But he's being a gentleman and keeping his hands to himself. It was Barbie that made the first move. And finally, enjoy. She's not happy to have her picture taken. Anyway. Now, you guys all know that I'm not suited to have children. Not because I'm gay, but because I despise them. Other people's children drive me nuts. I don't mind you coming over. I don't mind hanging out with you if you have kids. Enough is enough, though. You can send them home. I loved my nephews coming over. Sugar them up, send them home. That's right. It was me. That's why your kids now, sister, Mary Sue. That's why your kids are addicted to Mountain Dew. You're welcome. Anyway. And the following pictures are the reasons why I'm sorry, I totally butchered that segue. Let's try it again. The next group of pictures is why I don't have kids. Now, I have to sympathize with this first kid. Every year, my family and I would go to Florida. Every year, I would stub my toe. Even if I was wearing flip-flops, I would stub my toe. And the worst time is when I would go to, even nowadays, if I go somewhere and I'm laying out in a lounge at a pool where they have like the stripped yacht, or not yacht, hammock style straps. Straps, that's the word I'm looking for. And Every time I go to sit down on one, I feel like I'm going to fall through. You know, like this kid. I can kind of sympathize with that kid. Not going to lie. Now this kid, I don't understand why you would sit on the toilet correctly when you're learning how to go to the potty and put the kid's toilet seat not on the toilet but on his head. That's not the head the pee comes out of. Just saying. And if it is, you need to see a doctor. Here's the next one. Now the caption for this one that I had to cut out of the picture because I had the kid's name in it. The caption of the picture is that the mom woke up and saw her child dressed like this and sitting like this. I wonder where he got it. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be into the kink side of things when he grows up. Here's the next one. I had to do a double take when I looked at this picture. Took me a minute to figure out what actually was going on in the picture. Good thing I hadn't been smoking some stuff prior to, because I would be really losing my mind seeing the picture like this. The kid is sitting with his legs in the splits under the cushions. That is really kind of creepy. I don't know why. Here's the next one. Now, this is me trying to play soccer. Here's the next one. Now this, children and criminals, because I've gotten into watching cops recently. I've bought like 6 seasons on Amazon. I watch them on repeat. Anyway, this is why you don't jump over fences. Because of that. Here's the next thing. And this one took me a minute too. And then I realized the kid fell through the vent. Yeah. Here's the next one. You know when your mama's baking in the kitchen, she's baking a cake, cookies, and you hear the sound of the electric mixer just going and going, and the first thing you think of is, I get to lick the beaters. Take them away from the electric blender first. It's much easier to get at them and not lose a tongue or lips. Just a thought. Here's the next one. Don't know what it is, but the kid probably shouldn't have had it. Now, this one I apologize for. This one may be offensive. I apologize if it is. But I'm assuming, and you know what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me. I'm assuming her mom recently had a baby. Because here they are in the middle of a shopping store because she's in a shopping cart breastfeeding her doll. While that is kind of adorable, it's also really kind of weird. Anyway. Well, thank you for joining me this week. That will do it for the show and for, well, marriage. Because next week we're focusing on separations. Whether breakup while you're dating or divorce, we're talking about separations. Also next week, I hope, is going to be the live, well, not live, but when I'm filming, I'm going to taste test each of the new Hard Mountain Dews. So be sure to watch that for the live Hard Mountain Dew review. Anyway, if you think there's something funny I should see and share on the show, be sure to send it to me. There's the show email address as well as my TikTok. And I will say, the Taser Versus video is coming up soon. I just filmed another one. And there's my Twitter, which I really don't use because of the new owner. I just decide to post, show you when or notify you when I post on there. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and get the notifications anytime I post a new episode, because who knows when I'm going to post them at this point with my work schedule. But I'm going to get into a routine eventually, okay? All right. Well, until next week, everybody, be sure to stay safe, stay healthy, stop the hate. And until next week, that's all I'm saying.